Hi, and welcome to this short tutorial about the 6+1 traits in the writing rubric. It is important to note that these will not always be used with assignments, but these traits are very important and come up time and time again in writing. Let's look at the first one, content. Content is the heart of the message, the content of the piece, the main ideas, with details that enrich and develop that theme. This is a very important one. And if you notice, when you were to use this rubric, this one is out of 8. The first two are out of 8, and the ones after that are out of 4, meaning that these two first ones, content and organization, are some of the most important ones. The question you want to ask yourself, did the writer stay focused and stay original and fresh information or perspective about the topic? You want to make sure that it's clear and the content within it makes sense. If you look at number 4, it says that this paper is clear and focused. It holds the reader's attention, which is very important, is relevant and has relevant anecdotes and details that enrich the central theme. So that it's narrow enough but manageable enough, but also giving enough information within that topic. If we go down a little bit next, the next one is organization. The internal structure, the thread of the central meaning, the logical, and sometimes the intrinsic pattern of the ideas. This one is important because it also comes back to, does it make sense and is it easy to follow? Does the structure enhance the ideas and allow for someone to understand what is going on? Let's go down to sentence structure. Again, keep in mind that organization and content are a little bit more important than the other ones, but all aspects are great. The sentence structure refers to the rhythm and flow of the language, the sound and word pattern, and the way in which the writing plays to your ears, not just to the eyes. The key question you would ask is, can you feel the words and phrases flow together as you read it out loud? Many times I tell my students, whether it's to someone or just to an object or to nothing, it is very important to read your work out loud. And in doing so, many times you correct mistakes that may fall into grammar and mechanics more often. They may also fall into word choice. You think of a word that's better. But many times it comes back to sentence structure. Does it flow? If you have to stop and breathe and get lost while reading it out loud, then maybe there's something you want to go back and fix and revise. Next, we look at word choice. Word choice is the use of rich, colorful, precise language that moves and enlightens the reader. This one, the question is, do the words and phrase create vivid pictures and linger in your mind? It is really important to think about this and the words that you are using. Are you using clear, in-depth ones, or are they very basic and commonly used words? The words convey the intended message in the precise, interesting, and natural way. Many times when looking at this, concrete writing will come up. Is it concrete and clear? Next, we look at conventions. Conventions, also known as grammar, mechanical correctness, spelling, the usage of capitals and punctuation. It is very important. This one, many times people focus on a lot, and I'm not saying that's bad, but sometimes to just glance over it is so much fun and to focus on the content. At the same time, this is one that I tend to focus on when I go back and edit and revise. How much editing would you have to be done to make this piece ready to share to the outside world? This is wonderful to have a look at, and sometimes this is where peer, sibling, parent, or other friends that you may know, having them edit it, they might notice some of this as well. If you are editing someone else's piece in this situation for conventions, I would recommend to just circle or to underline or highlight mistakes and have the actual writer correct them themselves. The other thing too with this one is that feel free while doing the editing process to look at a dictionary and a thesaurus, or to check with spell check in your word processor. Going down, we're going to look at voice. Voice is a unique perspective of the writer that is evident throughout the use of compelling ideas, engaging language, and relevant details. This one is very important. Lots of times you ask writers, have you found your voice? And that's very important to know that somebody has an individual voice. But the other question you want to ask within this one is, would you keep reading this piece if it were longer? Is it hard to put it down? Do you want to keep reading it? That's what makes a good writer great. Is that they can have a good piece of writing is one that you don't want to put down. Those books that people get through in a day or a weekend because they can't put them down. It's just impossible. Those writers have found voice. The writer of this paper speaks directly to the reader in a manner that is individual, compelling, engaging, and shows respect for the audience. And that plus one trait is kind of interesting. It's called presentation. The finished piece includes required information and reflects the writer's pride in the assignment. This one comes to, have you taken the time to either type it up or handwrite it or print it in a neat way? Have you put dates and names and allowed yourself to really take pride in what you have done? So as you go about, think about these 6 traits plus the one with the rubric, and note that they will be looked at in different assignments for focusing on different content and that. And they all do take into consideration when it comes to marking. And remember, content and organization generally have to do with a little bit more. I hope this has helped you. Have a great day.